Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Money Mindset Manifesting Business Show. Today, we have this beautiful Erika Taylor-Beck with us, and we are going to be talking about leadership, emotional intelligence, authenticity, and alignment in your business as an entrepreneur. Powerful interview that we're going to be having. I'm going to just quickly read Erika's bio and then she can introduce herself. Erika, welcome to the show. It's so lovely having you here.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here.
You're welcome. Erika Taylor-Beck is the CEO and founder of Authentic Foundations. She offers online courses and coaching services to help managers develop fundamental leadership skills and emotional intelligence without spending years learning through trial and error. Erika, I absolutely love this. Please tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. So I spent about the last 20 years working in corporate America, and I had spent most of that time doing training roles or leadership roles. And my two jobs ago, I was there for about 11 years, and I had invested, 25% of my life at this company because I was only 40 at the time, and I got laid off and totally blindsided by this. But, part of the challenge was I had been going through the spiritual awakening and wasn't 100% feeling aligned with corporate culture anymore. And I started to question things that I had previously just accepted and lived with and did. But still, I was just so upset when I got laid off because that was all I knew. It was my identity, was my job. And but I think that was a big push from the universe saying, you're not supposed to be here anymore. Like you've been feeling like you should do something more and you were never going to leave. So this is how we get you out. But
exactly. It just drops you in this pit and it says, okay, claw your way out. And when you get out, magic happens. So I love that.
Yes, but magic did not happen yet for me because I was oblivious to that at that time. And I panicked and went to another job that was very similar to the one that I had just left. But that place, the culture it was not what I wanted. It was everything opposite of how I like to lead and the types of teams and cultures I want to create. And I was only there for about 4 months when I realized, okay, I'm not supposed to be here anymore. I get the hint. I'm feeling it. I'm going to leave. So I quit corporate in the middle of last year. I took some time off to volunteer and I did a lot of work with animals because we have 9 pets at our house. They're all rescue animals. So I did a lot of work with local shelters and rescues and thought, I'm going to work with animals. That's what I'm being called to do. And it wasn't. It still was not what I was supposed to be doing. And I realized how much I missed coaching people. And I loved because I had worked with a lot of entry level employees and helped them promote into their next levels and into management. And I realized that I love doing that, but that it's not an area where most managers are very skilled. When people are promoted into management, they're just, hey, you're the best person on the team. Now you're the manager, go. And the skills that make them great as team members are not the same skills that they need to be great as leaders. And they're often just left to flounder and figure it out. And they either learn from the bad habits of people above them that they're picking up, or they trial and error and they burn some bridges along the way as they realize, okay, I'm not good at this. And then I just stopped doing it. So I wanted to create a leadership coaching business. And I called it Authentic Foundations because the authenticity piece is important, where you don't have to fit yourself into a box to be a good leader. You can be yourself. And actually, when you are yourself, things happen because they're more aligned with you and your energy. But you can learn the different techniques in a way that feels comfortable and that resonate with you so that you can be successful. And so that is something that I've been doing now since maybe November of last year. And I love it. I'm super passionate about it.
Yeah, that sounds incredible. It's just something so different. But explain to us, the audience watching, listening, what does emotional intelligence mean? And why is it so important for entrepreneurs to know about this and to actually then start implementing, what do you say, to increase the skill of emotional intelligence?
Just improve your overall level. So
Yeah.
EQ is your emotional intelligence, your emotional quotient, and it's different from IQ because EQ can be developed. So you can improve it. So right now, if you're thinking, I don't have it, I'm not good at it, you can get better if you want to, if
Okay.
you practice. So emotional intelligence is really the ability to understand your emotions and what triggers them, but also the emotions of others so that you can be successful in navigating relationships. And it's not just important in business, it's important in marriage and relationships and friendships and being a parent. Like it's something that
Yeah. Yeah.
everybody needs. And
Yes.
why it's important is if you can't manage yourself, you're definitely not going to be able to manage a business, especially as an entrepreneur. The ups and downs of
Yep.
entrepreneurship, you have to be able to handle the chaos and the stress and be able to effectively communicate through those challenges. And so emotional intelligence is just being aware of your emotions, what's triggering them, how to regulate them and how to handle them as they're happening, but also to, how to communicate effectively with other people.
So you mentioned in the bio that I read that you offer online courses. Would emotional intelligence be one of these courses to help people navigate through how to become aware, how to handle it? Is that one of the courses that you offer?
I do have a course on emotional intelligence. Yes.
Awesome. I'll drop that in the description below. So if anyone is interested in this, go and click that link or grab that course. Erika, so what would some ways be that an entrepreneur can increase their emotional intelligence? Like, are there specific things to do, or is it just to become aware of I have it and I need to watch my triggers?
A little bit of all of that. So part of it is just being aware and recognizing your emotions. So if you're starting to feel stressed, and I guess taking a step back, sometimes if you're not fully aware of the emotions, your body will have physiological responses. So if you are clenching your jaw, it's you might be stressed or anxious about something. So even if you don't necessarily recognize the emotion, are your hands sweating? Do you feel like, are your armpits suddenly sweating? Do you feel really hot? Do you feel nervous? So if you start to notice that your body is responding differently, try to pinpoint what it is that's causing that. But typically, if you are able to recognize the emotions of, okay, I'm really anxious. Why am I anxious? I have a big presentation this afternoon that I need to do. And so you start to recognize, okay, well, how can I mitigate the anxiety that I'm feeling? And maybe it's to really just practice before you go in. So I have practiced. I am going this is the best prepared I can be. I know that I'm going into this and I'm going to be confident in that and I'm going to do my best. And so you can do different things as far as mindfulness, maybe take a walk, sometimes just getting up and getting away from the environment. So just take a breath, you do some deep breathing, go for a quick walk, maybe do some stretches by your desk. Some people need to do physical movement to help move those emotions. And sometimes people just
Yeah.
maybe need to take a minute, write them down. Like do some deep breathing, listen to some calming music. There are a lot of little things that we can do to help manage the emotions, but a lot of it too is just practicing and saying, okay, okay, when they said that, I felt really frustrated and I wanted to snap back, but instead of snapping back, I'm going to take 5 seconds
Yeah.
and then respond calmly. And so that's emotional intelligence of I'm not going to react and have that
Right.
emotional hijacking of where my emotions are now driving the body. I'm okay. Okay, from a logical place, where do I want to respond? How do I want to respond to that? And so those are little things that you can do to build up the ability to handle things a little bit better.
It's so important. I work with so many coaches and creatives, healers, a lot of entrepreneurs, and I find one of the biggest emotions, some of the biggest emotions will be frustration, irritability is very high on the list as well. And sometimes something small triggers that irritability, but it actually goes back layers. It's not the dog barking when something happens. It's something much deeper. So I love that awareness and the writing it down, going for a walk so that you can really reflect back on what is really causing this agitation, the frustration. I mean, tech issues as entrepreneurs, just one
Yes.
of the things. um, yeah, so that's so important. You were saying that you're the co-founder of Authentic Foundations. Why are you so passionate about the authenticity of what you do? Just talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So actually, I've been, like I said, in leadership now for at least the last 15 or so years. And when they first asked me, my leaders at the time asked me if I wanted to step into management, I said no, because I did not think that I was the right personality to be a good leader because of what I had seen as examples before me. And I thought you had to be a certain way to be a manager. And I thought I was going to be too empathetic and that I was too passive and maybe not going to be direct enough. And I learned, I eventually said yes to being a manager. And I learned that I could be myself and that actually by being myself, I was able to build real relationships with people in a way that was genuine. And I didn't have to be authoritative or directive and really, "Oh, do this because I'm your boss." I could just have a
Ah,
conversation.
yeah,
Exactly. And
yeah,
people, because they had that rapport with me, are like, "Yeah, I'll do that." Because, like, sure, of course. And so I realized you don't have to fit into this box to be a good leader. You can be yourself as long as you have the right tools and techniques as far as, how to give feedback and how to delegate and how to hold people accountable. Because it's a fine line of empathy and enablement, excuse me. And so you
yeah,
can be empathetic and supportive, but you can still hold people accountable and get things done. And I found that balance and that people were thriving in that type of environment. And so that to me is extremely important, to be yourself, to feel comfortable in who you are and what you're doing. And that allows other people to feel comfortable in who they are and what they're doing. And they bring themselves to work in a fuller capacity and they feel more engaged and they're happier
for
to
sure.
be there. And I just feel like when you start to do things that are authentic, you attract energy wise things that are in alignment with that. And so you're not attracting the wrong things because you're trying to be something fake. You're getting the
Yep.
people, the opportunities that are meant for you, and it just everything falls into place so much easier.
It really does. And I feel when you are yourself, um, you naturally are more relaxed and more peaceful and more open. And when you are faking it, and I feel especially women in business, whether it's
Yes.
corporate or entrepreneurship, you have to be well put together and you're not allowed to be a hot mess and everything has to be perfect. And I so often find that when you are just absolutely yourself in your mess, people just relate easier, right? People just,
Yes.
oh, she's human. And I just love,
Yes.
yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we call that like being vulnerable in leadership. And that's
Yeah.
something that a lot of people are not comfortable with. But vulnerability does not mean like, here's everything that about me that you need to know. It's not
Yes.
oversharing, but it's being human. I'm not
Yeah.
sure how to handle the situation. I've never come up against this before, but I trust in myself enough to figure out that we'll do it. We'll get there. And so being able to say, I don't know, we'll figure it out together. Or I don't know, let's go find somebody else who might know. By being honest and vulnerable, people trust you a lot more because then they relate to you. Because if you're perfect, they don't, one, they sense there's
Oh,
a BS factor there. Like you're
yeah,
not really perfect.
100%. People know, people read energy so fast, they don't even realize that they're picking up on that
Yes.
BS factor. Yeah.
Yes. And then
Um,
they don't relate to that because they're like, we're not alike because I don't, we just don't connect on that level.
I remember about 15 years ago, I didn't even know what life coaching was at the time or any kind of coaching, except obviously sports. And I had someone all my life, my mom used to say to me, "You are so sensitive. You're very sensitive. Don't be so sensitive." Everyone used to say all these things. And when I was an adult in my early 20s, someone very specifically said to me, you are so sensitive. Look at me. I'm so powerful. We're like the complete opposite. And it, of course, broke me being the sensitive person. And I went to a friend of mine that was a psychic reader. And I was sobbing and I said to her, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sensitive. I hate it. I hate it so much. Why does it?" And she said, "Do you realize that that is your superpower?"
Yeah.
And it took my breath away. Honestly, I sat there and I went, "What do you mean? How on earth can empathy and sympathy be a superpower when all I want to do is just cry for other people and I can't stand in my power?" And she said, "Just take away and go and have a think about it." And it's funny how a few years after that, I got into coaching, and it was first women's empowerment, and then, it evolved into mindset and manifesting and whatnot. And I realized, being myself in my sensitivity, how powerful I can help others through that. I didn't have to be a badass, like a real powerhouse. And
Right.
so I just, yeah, I totally resonate with that. I think it is so powerful when you can come from a place of who you are, and to figure out who you are, you bring that awareness. So, and I'm sure your programs are going to help people do that. There's something that you mentioned about, let me just quickly go down. You were, oh yes. You were saying there are conversations that you learn how to have, and you build those kind of skills, because we honestly, no one is taught this.
Mhm.
And Erika is giving everyone a free offering, which is so fantastic. This is specifically for entrepreneurs that manage others. So if you have one team member or more, this is going to be amazing for you. It is 5 crucial conversations managers need to have with their team members, and how to have them. So I
Yes.
think you go and grab this immediately. And Erika, if I could even say, even if you were like the only member, like a solopreneur, and you have no team members, I think this is still powerful, because we're all going to expand, right? Everyone is like, okay, let's delegate, and let's try and have more free time. And I think that is fantastic. I am dropping the link in the description below, so absolutely go and grab that, as well as all Erika's online courses and programs. The links will be in the description, because I don't want you going and trying to find where everything is. And of course, Erika, where they can follow you. You've got Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, and it's at authentic.foundations, but all the links are dropped below, so you can immediately go and scroll. Is there anything else you would like to add? Any other tips or hints, or anything that someone can do struggling right now, knowing that they are honestly in a hot mess, and they constantly wake up angry, and they constantly go to bed angry or frustrated, and they're not pushing through those emotions? Is there anything else that you can offer as help?
But goodness, I mean, yes. So if you are going to bed angry and stressed every night, I mean, definitely start trying to find something that works for you, whether it's exercising, meditation, something. But if you need to, also feel free to reach out on social media or through my coaching page. I'm happy to chat with folks. I also have a 30-minute kind of free consultation, a strategy session. So if you want to see if we're a good fit to work together, I'm happy to do that, to make sure that our energies are aligned and that I have the experience to help you with what you're working through. But ask for help. I would say that. I think especially for entrepreneurs and solopreneurs that there's this feeling of I have to do everything myself to be successful, and you don't. And many people have gone through it or are going through it along with what you're doing. So somebody else can help you, at least to be a sounding board. Don't try to
Oh,
feel like you have to do this yourself, any of it.
yeah. Yeah, so if you have any questions, you can absolutely drop it in the comments right now, and we can get back to you. And I would love everyone watching, listening, to drop in the comments and let us know if this triggers something in you. Do you feel that you need to increase your skill with emotional intelligence? That will be such a nice discussion point to have in the comments. Thank you, Erika. I really absolutely love this topic. I love discussing it. I think it is powerful and so important for everyone. As you say, it's not even in business, but it's with your children and with friends and family. Oh my goodness, family around Christmas time. We all know. And Easter coming up. We all know. But I think it is wonderful just as a personal development skill. I think it's absolutely wonderful. It will make you a more comfortable, peaceful human being on the planet, instead of in a rage half the time, like just
Yes.
boiling beneath the surface kind of thing. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on the show. I absolutely love chatting to you, and I would love to connect again in the future.
Yes. Thank you for having me. This was great. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome. Lots of love. Bye.